Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I am starting my May read with Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. I thought it's a new month and I just finished reading a book in April and I have to pick up a new book. So I thought I will read this entire series and see how much time it takes me. These are very small books. I have 4 books out of the 5. If I'm able to finish all 4, then I will buy the 5th one and finish it in May. I'm hoping to finish this in the first 2 weeks itself because these are really small. But I don't know my workload and everything, so we'll see how that goes. So I will start with the first book, that is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and then I will read the rest of the series. So yeah, I thought I will film my experience reading this entire series. These are probably some light reads. I always enjoy books by Japanese authors, so I'm hoping these will be good as well. So we'll see how that goes. So I just checked out all 4 books and I realized that none of the books are more than 250 pages. So if I really get down to it, really get down to it, I can finish one book a day. But most of the times I can't really get down to it because I have other things to do, like, earning my livelihood or sleeping or watching Netflix. But what I plan to do is finish all 5 books in 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks should be a good time. If I read like an hour or two a day, I should be able to finish these books. But let's not forget, that's not what this challenge is about. Whether I finish these books within 2 weeks does not matter. I'm hoping I will, but it's okay if I finish it by May end as well, because as I said, that's not what this challenge is about. This challenge is about me finishing the entire series within this video, so we will do as long as it takes. Ideally, I would not want to pick up any other book before I complete this series. I want to read this in a single stretch without getting distracted or picking up any other book in between. But I'm a mood reader, so we'll see how that goes. But for now, I will continue with the first book after my work day. Today being a weekday, I do have work, so I will pick this up in the night and maybe read hopefully 100 pages. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so I had just stepped out for some time and now I'm back. It's around 11 p.m. in the night, and I went to a cafe, or rather, I just went out for some work, and then I thought while coming back, we'll go visit a cafe, and spotted this random cafe which had a very good vibe. Sat down. I also saw this book that I'm reading in the cafe. So it had couple of or rather some it had a small book collection, so you can just sip coffee and read. And I just saw this book in the cafe and I thought it's a sign. I am reading this book, so I'll just buy a coffee, sit, maybe read for some time. And I did buy coffee. I bought iced americano, uh, but I got hot coffee instead. So when I said that this is not the order, he just put couple of ice cubes in the coffee and gave it to me, and that tasted so bad. So I just read few pages, took a couple of sips, but I could not finish the coffee, and we left. The vibe was good. I had the book, but the coffee tasted so bad that I did not finish it. Then while coming back, we went to, or rather, we spotted a bookstore. I haven't been to that before, so we just thought, we'll check it out. And to no surprise, I bought some books. Yeah, I could not buy these books. These are so cute. So it's a very small package. Uh, And because these are pocket books, I think this is the first time I'm owning pocket books. Let me just flip the camera. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and I bought 3 pocket books. I have no idea what this is, but the description sounded cool, and it's a very tiny book. It's the size of my palm. So, and there are these points or lessons to live by. And then I have Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka and The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. The shopkeeper did say that these are not abridged versions, but this is so tiny. I can't believe these are not abridged versions. But I thought even if they are abridged versions, you know, people are usually scared by Russian literature, and I think this is the best way to get into it. I've never read any of those, but this is so tiny that if I like it, I can start reading more or the longer version books. So yeah, I bought these 3 books. This is so cute. This is so tiny, and I will read it randomly. Like I can carry these books, one book, keep it in my bag or purse, and whenever I feel bored, I feel like I just need a book, and I can just pick this up. These are so tiny. This is probably the size of Kindle or even tinier than that. So it's a good book. Yeah, it was a nice, fun late night outing. So yeah, getting back to this book has 4 stories. I have read one of them today. It's about like 50 pages or so. So I finished the first story. Basically, it's about a cafe that allows you to go back in time, but there are certain rules. So the character described in the first story, she wants to go back in time to do something, and then she comes across these rules, and it's a light, very refreshing story about what she does, how she comes to know about the rules, and then she goes back to time. So it's nice. I would definitely categorize it as a coffee table book. Like, if I go to a cafe, find this book, I can just order a cold coffee, sit for an hour, and finish one story and never think about it because it has a complete ending. So, yeah, I have finished the first story, and I will probably read the second story tonight, or at least start it, and then I'll check in with you tomorrow. Hi guys, I just finished up my work. I have my book with me as well as my coffee, and I am reading the surprising and coincidentally, I'm reading the book called Before the Coffee Gets Cold While Drinking Cold Coffee. So I have finished the second story in the book. It is about a husband and wife, and again, it takes place in the same cafe, the time traveling cafe, and one of them goes back in time, follows all the rules to get something done in the past. So I have finished the second chapter. I wouldn't say chapter because there are only 4 chapters. It's the second story, and now I have started this third story, and I plan to finish the third story today. We will see. Both of the stories that I've read are very calming and very simple. There is not a lot of excitement, like it's not like a fantasy novel where things are happening, fights and romance and everything, but it's a very calming story that I've read. And yeah, let's see if I can finish the third story today. I do have a lot of time. I may watch something or I may continue reading, but at least we'll finish the third story. I am curious though what will happen in the next 4 books. Is it the continuation of such stories and based out of the same cafe, or is it something different altogether? Because there are hardly 8 or 10 characters at max. And once you have heard about all their stories, there's nothing left. So I'm very curious if it's their stories continuing in rest of the books, or if any new characters will be introduced. So let's see. And so far it's going good, and we will see how it goes, if I'm still able to stick to my personal 2 week deadline, or will it take me entire month. So I am on page 122 of this book. I still have about 40 odd pages to finish this story. um I'm hoping to finish it tonight, because it's just, I think, yeah, it's about 9 p.m. and I will read at least an hour before I go to sleep, or watch Netflix or something. So yes, we'll see if I can finish the story. I don't want to leave it half read tonight, so I'll just continue reading now. Good morning, guys. Yesterday I did not record anything, but I did finish the first book before the coffee gets cold, and I picked up this second part. So as I said, there were 4 stories in the first book, and I finished reading the last 2 yesterday. The last story was very, very sad and emotional, and it was also, I think, one of the shortest stories of all 4. And I figured out, I started with this new book, or the part 2. Basically, it occurs in the same cafe, and it is about 4 new people, or rather 4 customers, and their stories, and them going back into the past, and how that spans out. So I'm just on the first story, and it's good progress, I must say. So it's been like, what, 2-3 days, and I've just finished one book. So doesn't seem like I would need a month. If I continue at this rate, I will finish this within 2 weeks. So let's continue. Good morning. Last I checked in, I told you that I finished the first book, and I really want to pick up, my best stories out of each book, and sort of, conduct a competition. So the story that I really, really enjoyed, and that really, touched me was Mother and Daughter. That is the 4th story in the first book. And it was just, all the stories were good. It's just that that made me extra invested and extra emotional, and I really like such stories. So yes, so from the first book, it's Mother and Daughter, the 4th story in the book. And now I am reading the second book. I just finished the first story in this book, and it is about a new customer that has come, or walked into the cafe just to go back to the past. And yeah, like, and that's very nice. And there was just one mystery that was revealed, that who the lady sitting in the chair is. So yeah, that was nice to know finally who that is, but we are yet to know how she got there, what is the background. So yeah, I will continue reading today. Today it's a weekend, so I have a lot of time with me to read. Hopefully, like, it's a very ambitious goal, but maybe I'll finish this book, I don't know. If not today, but at least over the weekend I can finish it. So I am hoping to do that. And if I am able to step out and I do have some time, I may buy the 5th book today itself, because it's going good. I know I'm going to read the 5th book. So yeah, let's see if I can get the 5th book. Good morning, guys. So yesterday I did not do anything other than read and sleep, and then I went out in the evening. So I did not finish the book. but I only have like this much left. So I will be finishing this today and then picking up the new one, the third part. So we'll see how it goes. Hi guys, it's Monday. Just a quick update. I finished my second book. That is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe. And even in this book, I really liked the last story. It was really good, revealed few things, very emotional and very short. So yeah, I really like that. So the last story, I'll have to check the name. I think it's called Mother and Daughter, if I'm not wrong, or something else. I need to see the name, but it is really good again. So first book also I like the fourth story. Second book also I like the fourth story. I picked up the third book, Before Your Memory Fades. This book is based out of another cafe. The characters or the waitress and all the main characters remain the same, but the cafe itself has changed. I have just read like 8-10 pages, so I'm not sure why the cafe has changed or why these characters have moved there. So I'm yet to get to that part, but it is again still the book has 4 stories and I'm just on the first one. I'm a little busy today, so I'm not sure how much I'll be able to read, but I'm hoping to at least complete that one story that I've already started and then pick it up again tomorrow. um, I'll see you when I start reading. Hi guys. So it's evening, and as you know, I am on the third book of Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, and I really wanted to see if there is a movie made of this book, and I found this Japanese movie which was made in 2018, and I found the full movie in YouTube. I think it's only the first part. I'm not sure, but I am watching that now and it's so fun. Like I'm just starting to watch. I hope it's good, but it will be so fun to actually see those stories come to life. And yes, I think you can find it on YouTube. It's called Cafe Funiculi Funicula. I don't know if the pronunciation is right, but that's what the movie is called, and it's like about a 2-hour movie. So yeah, I'm so excited to. その席に座ると望んだ通りの時間に移動できる。So I finished Before the Memory Fades as well last night. And no surprise here, I really loved the fourth story, and the ending was so shocking. I can't believe. I mean, the last page was so shocking, and I really liked that story. So somehow it seems to be a pattern that I really like the fourth story the best. And now I have picked up Before We Say Goodbye. I also ordered Before We Forget Kindness. That is the last part of this book. I was going to go out and get it, but I couldn't do it over the weekend. And then, now it's, I have office during the evening and, it becomes late. So I have not been able to get the book. So I just ordered it from Amazon and I've started reading this one. I am surprised by how fast I'm reading because I think today it's May 7 and I have already finished 3 of the books in the series. So now I hope that within the so-called 2 weeks that I said, I will be able to finish the entire series. So I'm happy about it. But let's see how much I will be able to read today. So Before the Memory Fades, that book happens I think 10-15 years in the future, and then when it comes to Before We Say Goodbye, it happens again back when 15 years back. So I mean it doesn't really matter because these are like individual stories, 4 stories in each book, but you should know that we basically are like let's say you're number 1 in book 1 and 2, and then book 3 is like 15 years later and things have changed, kids have grown, things like that, and then book 4 is again 15 years back. So that's how this book is. And I don't know how or what timeline book 5 follows, but it's not that bad. I think once you get to know that, what timeline you are operating out of, the stories are pretty simple, characters are easy to follow, less number of characters, so it's not that hard to read or understand. And I have finished the first story in this book. It's good. uh, I was not very convinced or satisfied with the ending of the first story, but it is still nice to read. It's fast paced and it was a very short, like 45 pages or so. So, yes, I'll continue reading now. Hi, everyone. So, I finished with this book before we say goodbye. And this time, I liked the third story very much. It's called The Proposal, and I really thought it's very clever and it was fun to read. Well, I wouldn't call it fun because out of the 16 stories I've read so far, at least 10 of them have something or the other to do with death. These stories are very emotional but at the same time very simplistic. So that is why it was really, like, engaging, and I finished it so quickly. Now the problem is that my last part of the book is yet to arrive. It will arrive tomorrow, and I have already finished all the other 4 parts, so I'm just waiting for tomorrow when my last part arrives. And I'm hoping to finish it by this week. So let's see. I don't know how long that book is. This book was pretty small, I think 170 pages or so, but we'll see how long that last part is. So today, then I will pick up some other book, not related to this series. I'll just pick up something else because I don't have anything left in this series to read yet. So yes, I will check in with you tomorrow when I have received my book. Hi guys, I am just stepping out. It's about 9:30 p.m. But I just quickly want to update you because I have received my book already. This was supposed to arrive tomorrow, but it just came in. Now I'm going out, but I'll come back and start this. I did start another book and read about 20-25 pages, but I will finish this first and then continue with that other book. So, yes, now I will be able to finish this within, like, this week, maybe by weekend. So, yeah, I am happy that it arrived today and I can continue the series. Hi everyone, good morning. I have finished 2 stories in the last book. I still have about 120 pages to go. So, 2 more stories left, then I will be able to finish the entire series. Today it's Saturday and it's May 10, that is first 10 days. I actually started this series on April 30, I think. So, roughly 11 days. And yes, 11 days and 5 books. I am so happy. And the series was so good. Um, I will see which story I like in this book and which is the story I like in the entire series. But let me just quickly finish this book and then I'll check in again. Hi guys, I went out and I'm just back, and no surprise here, but I did some book shopping. So I majorly bought classics. I don't know when I'll read them, but I know I'll read them for sure. So I just, the first book that I bought is Anna Karenina. I have seen the movie, but I think I just watched some part of it. But now I want to read this first before I watch the movie. So this is the first book. It's pretty huge. Next one is Crime and Punishment. This is again by Fyodor Dostoevsky, so a Russian literature. As I had said before, I have not read a single book or a single Russian literature, so I want to start with those. Then this is just sort of a coffee table book. Lagom, I think that's how it's pronounced, I'm not sure. So it's a Swedish art of living a balanced life. It looks like it's similar to Ikigai or that kind of book.
So, and it seemed very nice and like a good coffee table book, so I bought this. So it has such a nice feel to it, like there are images, photographs, and yeah, this would make a very good coffee table book, so this is what I got. I bought these 3 books. None of these books are a rapid read or something that I'll pick up right away tomorrow, but these are the books that will be on my shelf forever, so I will just, randomly pick them up and continue to read them slowly. So now, update on the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. I just have one last story left, so about 40-50 pages to go. So I'm hoping I will be able to finish it like today or early morning tomorrow, because it's just like 40-50 pages last story. And yes, I will be able to finish the book or the book series in this weekend. And yeah, it was a fun read, so I'll just freshen up and then continue reading. Hi guys, welcome back. Today it's Sunday, May 11th, and finally I have finished all 5 books. So I have managed to finish these within my personal deadline of 2 weeks, because all of the 5 books were amazing. And these are very short books, so it's very quick paced. The size of the book is small, the number of pages are less, it's easy language, easy to read, and the stories are amazing. All in all, for all 5 books there are total 20 stories, 4 in each. And I'll just start one by one, right? I think I have told you this before. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, this has 4 stories. It is about a cafe that lets you go back to past, or basically travel in time, past or future, and it has some certain rules. And all the 5 books talk about people. There are some regular occurrences, that is the cafe owner and the waitress that they have. And it also talks about many customers who come there because they know or they've heard this urban legend that they can go to past or they can travel through time. So the first book, out of the 4 stories, I really like the 4th one. It is called Mother and Daughter, I think, and it is about one of the cafe owners, or rather the cafe owner's wife. She goes to meet her daughter, and it's around that. It's very emotional, it's nice, and ultimately it ends up making you happy. So 4th story, Mother and Daughter, that is my favorite from Before the Coffee Gets Cold, which is the first book. The second is Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Tales from the Cafe. So in this as well, I think, yeah, I like the 4th story the best. It's about a detective or a police officer who goes back in time to meet his wife, and it's a nice story, nice ending. And I see a trend, because in the 3rd book as well, that is Before Your Memory Fades, this is based out of a different cafe, but it has the same capability that it can take you through time, and it is operated by the owner's mother. So that's how the book starts. So it's the only one book that is based out of that other cafe, and even in this book I really enjoyed the 4th story. So it's about one of the cafe regulars, and we see her story, or her interaction with everyone throughout the first 3 stories, and then the 4th story itself is about her. And it's a nice story and has a very, I think, the most shocking ending of all the stories. I did not expect that ending in this book, but yes, the 4th story in this book is my favorite as well. It's called The Young Man. And slightly breaking from the trend, before we say goodbye, in this book my favorite story is the 3rd story. It's called The Proposal, and it's about a couple, and one of them goes back in time to, I'll not reveal what it is, but it's something related to the proposal. So yes, it's a 3rd story called The Proposal that I really enjoyed. In this book we are back to the main cafe, and the same characters, the waitress and everyone is there, as well as I think in this book we are also shifting timelines, because so the Before the Memory Fades occurs like somewhere 10-15 years after the 2nd book, but in this book we go back in time, if I am not wrong. Yes, yeah. So in this book, we go back in time, back to when Mickey is a baby. If you've read this, you know who Mickey is, and it is almost the same timeline where first and second book are based out of. It's slightly, of course, as in when years have passed, it's 2-3 years later. So yeah, in this book we are going back to the same cafe and the same timeline, but I forgot to mention it, but in Before Your Memory Fades we go ahead like 15 years ahead, where Mickey is all grown up and things like that. But in this we are back to the same timeline where Mickey is just a baby. And last book is Before We Forget Kindness. Again, in this book I really like the first story because it's about a little boy who's going back to past to fix few things, and it's very cute, it's very innocent, and it definitely will make you end up crying. It's such a nice book, and I think if I have to pick the best book of all, it has to be Before We Forget Kindness. That is the last book. It was really hard to pick a favorite story in this because I really enjoyed the first, second as well as the fourth story. Even I think third was good, but yes, first, fourth and first, second and fourth definitely. And I really enjoyed reading this of all the books. And now if I have to, so now we have four, I think, sorry. Okay, so if I have to pick the favorite story, we had number four, we have 4 again, and then 3, and then 1 and 2. I am taking 1 and 2 both because I really enjoyed them, and we have an odd number of books, so that's how it is. Now, if I have to choose between book number 1 and book number 2, then it has to be, my favorite story would be the mother and daughter, that is from the first book. Then if I have to pick 2 stories from these, it will have to be what is the last book? Yes, okay, so it will have to be the 4th story from this book, that is one of the cafe regulars. That's what wins. And then lastly, if I have to pick between 1 and 2, it would be the first story about the young boy that I was talking about. So that is it. And now if I have to pick top 2, so that will have to be mother and daughter from this book and the little boy story from this book. And I will not choose top 1 because both these stories are super close to winning, and I think they're pretty much equal, and they have a different reason for me liking it. And yeah, those were the top 2 stories from book number 1 and book number 5. These are the stories I've been. But all the 5 books, they are amazing, and you don't have to read them in order. It is good if you read them in order because there will be some background to it, but you can just simply pick up book 1 and then directly move to book 2 or book 5. It doesn't matter because they don't have that much of a connection, and you can simply just go there, read the first story, and randomly pick up a few years down the line and read the 4th story. It doesn't matter. These are standalone stories. While it is always good to have the background and read them in continuation, but it's okay if you visit a coffee shop, a library, and find any of these books, you can directly pick them up. Because one good thing about this book is in each and every story they give the background again and again. They repeat the cafe rules, they repeat the description of the waitress or the common characters that are there in all stories. They give the background of what had happened when they introduce any character, even though they've been there from the start. But whenever any new story starts, these characters are freshly introduced, their nature and their facial features and things like that. So irrespective of whether you find a random book in a library, you can just pick it up and read any story. You will not feel like you are missing anything. So that's it for this video. I really enjoyed reading all these books. Let me know if you have read any of them or all of them, and which one is your favorite story. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.